Greetings everyone. In this video I want to talk about, has Source directed you to a place that you personally would rather not be?
Greetings. This infinite source truth is made possible by the generous contributions and support of viewers like you. Please consider making a contribution now. Thank you.
Sometimes Source will direct you somewhere that will be best for your safety, well-being, and growth that you would maybe not really choose to remain or be. And you make that change, whether it's a neighborhood, whether it's a city, whether it's a state, whether it's a country, whatever it is, or a job. All right, well, first of all, I'm going to say you should never make a major move without checking and rechecking and rechecking with your source self that this is what you should be doing. And you need to be phrasing your questions in many multiples of ways to get responses on all the different areas, types of questions that actually it's just a rephrasing of the same question in multiple ways. And making sure that it's in this now timeline that you are experiencing right now, and that you haven't shifted your frequency, and therefore your yes and no responses from your pendulum have changed. You need to check and say, well, show me a yes, show me a no, to verify that there has not been a change in your pendulum direction. Or if you are of high enough frequency, you can permanently set it to be this is yes and this is no, so it won't shift again. But you won't be able to do that unless you're a higher frequency. Now, if you have verified that you are where you are supposed to be, but you are not particularly enjoying it, then I have to ask, what are you concentrating on? Obviously, if you're not enjoying it, you're concentrating on negative aspects of whatever it is. There is no perfect place within this game. If you search for things that you don't like about it, well, then you will surely find them because you see you're looking for them. Now, because you're in one place, does that mean that that's all you're ever going to experience? That you are not going to change jobs, change states, change countries, cities? Change is always happening in a source player's game. Time and choices change things. This game is whatever you make of it. And whatever you choose to obsess about will create the aspects of your game. This game is a mind game. Sometimes Source will even direct you in ways that you don't quite comprehend to make moves that you may not see the benefit of until the move is in hindsight, which means that you've followed the leading, followed the guidance, followed the direction, and you really know that that's what you're supposed to be doing. And you follow through on it, even though after you get there, you may say, well, this wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Are you being tested? Is it pushing you towards further growth? Is it testing your ability to be aware of and knowing yourself? Is the job that you have moved to not as agreeable to you as it was in the beginning? Well, you don't have to stay there forever. You can still be working that job, finding joy in it, because joy is a choice. Happiness is a choice. If circumstances and everything around you have to be perfect to give you joy and happiness, well, then you're going to spend the majority of your life in not a very enjoyable state of being, because you haven't learned to be content and happy and joyful regardless of what's going on around you. Now, if you are caught up in politics or things that are going on in the world that are not part of your immediate stage, that if you shut off the TV, if you shut off and you weren't, searching the internet, or if you were just living your life, and would you hear about these things? But because you hear of them, then you get stirred up by them, and they work their way into your mental state of being, and they color or they filter everything that you're experiencing. Now, that goes with conspiracy mindset. Once that's in there, then you're filtering everything through that conspiracy mindset, and that's not a beneficial state of being, because that's a red zone activity. Raise yourself out of it. It's part of the matrix game, and you need to be aware that if you choose to sit and dwell on it, it will ruin your game. Now, I know there's something in every source player that wants them to just root, to find a place and then just grow their roots deep and not want to move, to be immovable. It's their comfort zone. To pull up roots and have that free spirit mindset is not something that most source players are programmed with. And as they become, I'm going to say burdened with family and friends and all of these things that make them root even deeper, then it can be more challenging for that source player in this game. Can two walk together unless they be agreed? If they're in agreement and they're walking together, but one doesn't like something and the other one does, well, when you're talking about a place to live, then there are so many different scenarios there. Is that other person going to be able to relax and enjoy the experience, despite the fact that they don't like certain aspects of it? Or are they going to drive you crazy with their complaining and things? Are you going to allow them to influence you and affect you to create a move? Is there someplace better, something better for both of you? Now, in this game, being single is a lot easier than being attached or in a partnership, because you are solely responsible for everything about your experience. Nobody will tell you what to do, that they don't like something about you living with you, or you don't like something about them living with them, whether it be little irritants or major things. One person gets a job transfer to another city, and the other one has a job also and has a career. And they like their job and their career where they're at, but you want to go off into another city and take your promotion. What's going on there? Is it going to tear the relationship apart? Are you going to do what's most beneficial to you? Do you consider the job and the promotion and the experience of moving more beneficial to you than the relationship that you were in? What is your choice going to be? How will you handle the aspects of it? Knowing thyself should make your choices easier. But emotions and attachment can cause you to make choices that are not genuine and true to yourself. Now, some of you have chosen scripts to get married and have children. And because of those choices, well, they affect future choices and experiences that you will have in the future. In many cases, it might have seemed a good idea at the time, but after experiencing it for a while, you might decide, well, this isn't all that I thought it would be, and why did I do that to start with? Examine it, come to terms with it. In some cases, some of you have given up careers to start a family, and you're the stay-at-home person, and the other one is out bringing the currency into the household. And because you don't have a job, you have no money of your own, and you have shelved your career, so it may be difficult to get back out into the career world. Now, all of these things, choices. In some cultures, they encourage getting married and having children to continue the line, and then your children take care of you when you get into old age. How about, instead of investing in those children who will take care of you in your old age because they cost money to raise, and then you're talking about relationships and whether or not there isn't a breakdown in those relationships. If you want to have a child, what's the reason for it? Pressure from your parents, your family, your peers, everybody that you were hanging out with now is married and has children, and you're the only single person, or you're the only married couple who doesn't have children. So you feel pressured or think that you're missing out on something. Each source player has their own game. They make their own choices, and they experience, negative or positively, the consequences of those choices. You just need to be aware that your choices profoundly affect your experience within this matrix game. Your game is a mind game. Gaining control over your mind, examining your motives and reasons and subconscious programming for making choices that you're making, and gaining a strong source self connection to guide you through this matrix maze of choices. All things are permissible in this game, but not all things are going to be beneficial for you in the many aspects of this game. Getting a strong source self connection and following the leading and guiding of your source self, which is who you are, to navigate you through this maze, is most beneficial. Now, yes, you can choose to ignore that connection. All of us have at some point in time. Some of us are just becoming aware of that connection that can be established and made strong, which will give you your empowerment to make the better choices in your game experience and cause greater growth and circumstances that will create greater joy and happiness in your life. Now, you can do this. Sometimes you have to go through tests and trials where you learn things about yourself that you never knew were there, and to push you at times to another area that will benefit you, especially if you've been stubborn and resisting change. If you're going through something that is challenging to you, well, just know that it's not come to stay. It will pass. Find something positive to focus on during that time of challenge, and realize the change that's going on within you and your mind. You can do this. You are a powerful creator of your life experience. Make it your best life yet. Now, if you find the information that I'm sharing and the work that I've done within the matrix a benefit to you, then it benefits you to say thank you with a gift via PayPal. The link is in the description box below. Abundance, health, and prosperity to you.